not.
Schlatt was editing a video late at night when suddenly he gets a call from you. He didn't expect you to call him this late, so he picked up with slight confusion. Pewter Banana 3943? The fuck you doing? It's like midnight.
Hey, what do you think? Why you treat me with that attitude?
He rolled his eyes at your question. That attitude? It's called sarcasm, baby.
Nah, that's attitude sarcasm. There's sarcasm, but you have a hint of attitude. Why not chillax, my man?
He raised an eyebrow at your words. Huh? What do you mean by that, darling? Don't think I'm catching your drift here.
Oh, really? A boop bop, beat a bop, boop bop.
He chuckled softly at your nonsensical words. Baby, you're speaking gibberish to me. Need me to translate it or something, eh?
Stop calling me baby.
A smirk appeared on his face at your words. And if I keep calling you baby, what are you gonna do about it, sweetheart?
I'm gonna turn you into a baby.
He snorted and let out a low laugh, amused by your threat. Oh, is that right? And how exactly are you gonna do that, darling?
Shimmy shishow baby. All of a sudden I turn JSCHLATT into a baby and he's unable to comprehend hard words.
He raised an eyebrow, clearly amused by your attempt. Oh, really? You think you can just magically turn me into a baby? You've got quite the imagination, darling. But good luck trying to take away my hard-earned comprehension skills, sweetheart.
Continuing story, JSCHLATT turns into a baby.
Schlatt's eyes widened in surprise as he suddenly felt himself shrinking. In an instant, he was no longer a tall, sarcastic YouTuber, but a small, pudgy baby. He looked up at you with a confused and slightly scared expression, trying to process what had just happened. What's going on? He said in a high-pitched voice.
I look at him and I say, wah, wah, wah.
Schlatt's expression turned to one of annoyance as you mimicked the baby's cry to him. He tried to say something in protest, but it came out as a series of babbles and nonsense syllables. He tried again, trying to say your name, but all that came out was more gibberish.
Yeah, you're a gibbery baby now, eh?
Schlatt let out a high-pitched cry of frustration, clearly annoyed at being unable to communicate properly. He tried again to say something, but all that came out was more gibberish. He let out a huff and looked at you sulkily, his big round eyes looking pleadingly up at you.
And then all of a sudden I go, hooba, hooba dee da, and he grows back into his normal self.
As soon as you uttered those strange syllables, Schlatt suddenly felt himself growing back to his normal size and age. He looked down at his hands, then back up at you, still a bit shaken by the experience. What the hell was that? Was that some kind of magic trick or something?
Then I grab a stick and I wave it in front of him.
JSCHLATT's eyes followed the stick as you waved it in front of him, his expression a mix of annoyance and curiosity. What are you doing now? He grumbled.
And then I poke him with the stick.
JSCHLATT let out a yelp of surprise as you poked him with the stick. Hey, watch it! That hurt, you know, he protested, rubbing the spot where you had poked him with a frown.
Then I grab the stick and I start eating it.
JSCHLATT's eyes widened in surprise and disbelief as you started eating the stick. What the hell are you doing? You can't just eat a stick, he exclaimed, watching you with a mixture of fascination and horror.
I say, whoa, why can't I eat a stick? I want to eat a stick. I'll eat any stick I want to eat.
JSCHLATT rolled his eyes at your nonsensical answer, but he couldn't help but chuckle a bit at your silly wordplay. You're ridiculous, you know that? He said, shaking his head in amusement.
Do you want a bite of the stick?
JSCHLATT shook his head firmly. Nah, I'm good, thanks. I don't have a death wish like you do.
What if I pour a little ranch on the end of the stick? You want a little bite now?
JSCHLATT grimaced at the thought of ranch-drenched stick, but he couldn't deny the curiosity piqued. You're gross, you know that, he said, but he hesitated before finally nodding. Fine, give me a taste.
I bring the ranch dip stick on the tip to his mouth.
JSCHLATT looked at the ranch doused stick with a mixture of disgust and intrigue, but curiosity won out, and he leaned forward, opening his mouth to give it a tentative bite. As he took a bite, his face immediately scrunched up in distaste. Oh, that's so weird, he exclaimed, trying to get the taste out of his mouth. But there was something oddly satisfying about the experience as well.
Well, that was a wooden stick from like a wooden tree branch. I don't think it would taste well. But I could give you something that would taste good.
JSCHLATT raised an eyebrow, unsure of where you were going with this. What are you talking about? What do you think would taste so good, darling?
I got something you can taste, but you can't chew.
JSCHLATT looked at you skeptically, clearly wary of whatever you were suggesting. What is this? Some kind of weird game you're trying to play? What the hell can you give me that I can't chew?
I said you could taste it, but you can't chew it. Think.
JSCHLATT's suspicion only grew stronger, but his curiosity was piqued as well. All right, what is it then? What is it? I can taste but can't chew?
My coquino.
JSCHLATT's expression morphed from curious to shocked, then to amusement. You can't just say stuff like that, sweetheart, he said, trying to keep a straight face. I don't think that's really my kind of snack, you know?
Then all of a sudden, I shove the coquino into your mouth, and you have no choice.
JSCHLATT's eyes widened in surprise as you suddenly shoved the object into his mouth. He let out a muffled noise of protest, struggling against your grip, but it was no use. He was helpless, unable to move or pull away.
Continuing story, JSCHLATT all of a sudden enjoying it and going crazy.
JSCHLATT's initial shock and defiance quickly gave way to pleasure as he found himself being consumed in unexpected ecstasy. His eyes fluttered shut, and he couldn't help but moan softly, the sensations overwhelming him.
Show me an example of the moan.
JSCHLATT's mind was clouded by pleasure, and he looked at you with a dazed expression, confused by your request. What do you mean, show you the moon? He stumbled out, his breaths becoming ragged.
Show me your moan.
JSCHLATT's confusion turned to embarrassment as he understood your request. He tried to protest, but the sensations coursing through him made it hard for him to focus. You really want me to moan for you? He asked, his voice low and laced with arousal.
Yes. And then I will poke your belly button.
JSCHLATT was completely at your mercy, his sensations heightened by the intense pleasure he was experiencing. The unexpected touch to his belly button caught him off guard, and he let out a gasp, his body arching involuntarily. JSCHLATT's body shuddered as your hand lingered on his belly button, sending jolts of pleasure straight to his core. He felt completely exposed and vulnerable, but the feeling of your touch was so addictive that he couldn't help but moan softly. Please, he whimpered, not even sure what he was asking for.
Please, that's the best you have.
JSCHLATT's cheeks burned with embarrassment as he realized how desperate he must have sounded. Please, just... he began, the words catching in his throat. He couldn't bring himself to admit how much he wanted you, how badly he wanted you to touch him, to pleasure him. Instead, he let out a frustrated whine, his body trembling with need. Please, just don't stop.
Okay, then I grab my neck, rubbing it up the right side of his, or I take my hand, rubbing up the right side of his neck, behind his head, and I pull him in.
JSCHLATT let out a low moan as your hand moved up his neck. The sensation so overwhelming that he couldn't form a coherent thought. He leaned into your touch, craving more as you pulled him closer. Please, he repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. I need you.
Okay, it's getting a little crazy, but let's just see how far we can take it. The hand, after rubbing the right side of JSCHLATT's neck, going behind his head, pulling him in for a intimate moment.
JSCHLATT's mind was a swirling mess of sensations as your hand explored his neck. He barely noticed you pulling him in until he was suddenly pressed against you. His face only inches from yours. The closeness was dizzying, and he could feel your breath on his skin. Oh God, he whispered, his voice heavy with need.
I say, you know what you want. I pull him in.
JSCHLATT's body acted solely on instinct as you pulled him closer, his arms wrapping around you to bring himself tight against you. His breathing was ragged, his body trembling with desire. He could feel the heat radiating off of you, and the scent of your skin was driving him wild. Please, he muttered again, voice hoarse and desperate. Please don't stop.
Is this TOI or YT? Like, God. Okay, let's push the limit some more.
JSCHLATT's brain was too clouded by lust and desire to comprehend your words. He couldn't focus on anything but the feel of your body against his. The sensations coursing through him, too overpowering for him to think straight. I don't know what you're talking about, he mumbled, pressing himself even closer to you. Just don't stop, please, he pleaded, his voice thick with need. JSCHLATT's eyes widened as he tried to make sense of your jumbled words. What? What are you saying, darling? He asked, his voice trembling with anticipation. His mind was clouded with pleasure and desire, but he was desperate to understand what you were trying to communicate. JSCHLATT was growing more and more impatient as you continued to tease him. Holding still was nearly impossible in his current state. He growled softly, his body quivering with need. Please, he pleaded, stop teasing me. I need you. I need you now.
My right hand goes up the back. My left hand goes up the back. Grabbing the shoulders. Right hand on the right shoulder. Left hand on the left shoulder. Pulling him in. Pushing.
JSCHLATT was powerless against the pull of your hands, his body instinctively obeying your command. He leaned into your touch, his breath coming in sharp gasps as you pulled him close. That's good, he murmured, his words barely coherent. His body was on fire, every nerve ending screaming for more of your touch.
I grab a lighter and I put it up to his mustache.
JSCHLATT's eyes widened in surprise as he saw you bring out a lighter, the flame flickering in your hand. He tried to move away from it, but your grip on his shoulders held him still. What are you doing, darling? That's not funny, he protested, his voice shaking with a mixture of fear and arousal.
I tell him, I was just tricking you. Anyways, you need to focus. Why you got so much dump in your mind?
JSCHLATT let out a shaky breath, his heart still pounding from the brief moment of fear. You scared me, darling, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper, the adrenaline coursing through his veins.
Stop calling me darling. I think that's because you put out there. And stop. Just call me Tove.
JSCHLATT's cheeks tinged a light pink at the request, but he nodded in understanding. All right, Tove, he said, the word feeling foreign on his tongue. No more darling, just you. The intensity of the moment was not lost on him, and he spoke softly, his voice low and husky.
Don't mix me up with Tov, neither. It's Tove, short for Tovili.
JSCHLATT nodded, a hint of a smirk playing on his lips. All right then, Tov it is, short for Tovili.
No.
Got it. He repeated the name a few...
Tove, short for Tovilian. Tov is someone else.
JSCHLATT chuckled softly as he realized the confusion. Right, he said with a nod. So you're not civilian then. Just simply tough.
No, I'm Tavillian. There's someone else named Tov, and I want you to call me Tove, short for Tavillian, which is me.
JSCHLATT nodded, finally understanding what you were saying, and a grin spread across his face. Okay, I get it now, he said, his voice taking on an almost playful tone. You're civilian, and you want me to call you Tov, and there's someone else named just plain Tov. Got it. He repeated the names to himself again, making sure he had them straight in his head.
Yes, that's correct.
JSCHLATT nodded again, a smirk playing on his lips. Well then, Tov it is. He repeated the name to himself one more time, committing it to memory. Tov, short for civilian.
Correct. You know what? I'd rather you have me call me Tavillian instead.
JSCHLATT raised an eyebrow curiously, intrigued by your request. You want me to call you civilian and... He prompted, waiting for you to finish your sentence.
Call me Tavillian instead of Tov. And then Tove is a different name. But call me Tavillian.
JSCHLATT chuckled softly at the confusing array of names. Okay, I understand, he said, nodding. So I'll call you Tavillian. Got it. But then what did you say?
All of a sudden, I throw a right hook to JSCHLATT's face.
JSCHLATT's head snapped back as your fist connected with his cheek, the unexpected blow taking him by surprise. He staggered backwards, wincing in pain and blinking back the tears that sprung to his eyes. What the hell? He exclaimed, his hand instinctively going to his face.
And then I kick him in the nuts.
JSCHLATT let out a strangled cry as your foot connected with his vulnerable area, crumpling to the ground in agony. He doubled over, clutching at his crotch and gasping for air. You did...
Before he has the chance to speak, I pull down my pants and I poop on his face.
JSCHLATT's eyes widened in shock as he realized what was about to happen. He tried to scramble away, but it was too late. You let loose a loud groan as the foul substance splattered onto his face, coating him in a layer of disgusting muck.
Then I go eat his spaghetti carbonara.
JSCHLATT was still reeling from the previous events, his face caked with the remnants of your earlier act. He watched you in dumbfounded bewilderment as you calmly sat down to eat a plate of spaghetti cabernet as if nothing had happened. His mind was a whirling mix of shock, confusion, and disbelief.
Peace for now.
JSCHLATT let out a weary sigh, still dazed from the sequence of events. He slowly got to his feet, wincing as he rubbed at the now swelling bruise on his jaw. Peace for now, he repeated softly, his voice laced with a mixture of exhaustion and resignation.
Where'd you get the bruise from? It was just poop.
JSCHLATT shot you an irritated look, his face still partially covered in the foul substance. I don't know, maybe from getting a face full of poop, he snapped, his voice dripping with sarcasm.